It's playoff time in the Peach State, and the battle for Georgia begins now. Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome inside the Columbus Civic Center for Game 1 of the Commissioner's Cup quarterfinals, where two rivals separated by 200 miles, but bound by months of bad blood, square off with everything on the line. The River Dragons are a franchise with a lot of experience in this position, but since it's Athens' inaugural season, it marks the first playoff game in Rock Lobster history. It's the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Columbus River Dragons, and this is war. I'm Matt Teenrad, and for the next 60 or more minutes, we leave behind the regular season, the records, the stats, and the standings. All that matters now: survive and advance. Let's take a look at the Commissioner's Cup playoff bracket as it stands. On the Continental side, the Blue Ridge Bobcats survived their do-or-die clash with Baton Rouge. Over in the Empire, the Watertown Wolves took down the Motor City Rockers to play in the play-in game and will now face the Binghamton Black Bears in round 1. But here, tonight, it's the 2 versus 3 showdown in the Continental, Athens versus Columbus. The Rock Lobsters enter with unfinished business and playoff fire, backstopped by William Lavalier, tonight's FanSaves impact player. Athens leans on the goaltender who has led them through some of the season's grittiest battles. Columbus counters with someone who knows something about the FPHL playoffs. Trevor Babin, tonight's impact player for the River Dragons. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he has more than 200 penalty minutes to his name in his FPHL career. The FanSaves Impact Player segment is brought to you by FanSaves. Download the FanSaves app today and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters to unlock exclusive digital coupons and discounts from businesses that support your team. Let's meet tonight's Aikens Ford engine starters as the starting 5 for the Columbus River Dragons gets announced here. In goal tonight, William Lavalier. On defense, Troy Murray and Zach Papapetros. Up front, the money line, Daniil Glukarioff, Orko Weisblatt, and this FPHL season's leader in points, Garrett Milan. The team physician is Dr. Alec Graff, provided by Piedmont Athens Regional. The Aikens Ford engine starters are brought to you by Aikens Ford, Georgia's biggest and best Ford dealership. So here we are, Rock Lobsters, River Dragons, Game 1, no more tune-ups, no more hiding. The Commissioner's Cup playoffs have arrived. Let's see if Columbus learns to fear the claw. Let's drop the puck. Football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing.
You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
I know it's a cold rink here usually in Columbus, but you can feel the chill in the air, and it has everything to do with the energy and not the temperature here at the Columbus Civic Center. As we see the ceremonial puck drop between the two captains and former teammates Kirk Underwood and Carter Shinkarik, the Rock Lobsters closed out the regular season in style back on Saturday, defeating these River Dragons 5-2 Saturday night at the Columbus Civic Center. Columbus struck early as Connor Lynn scored just 22 seconds in to give the host a 1-0 lead, but Athens stormed back with a dominant second period, netting 3 unanswered goals from Garrett Milan, Daniil Glukarioff, and Philip Virgili to take control. Milan's tally marked his 100th point of the season. Kayson Gallant made it 4-1 early in the third, scoring his league-leading 40th goal of the year. Though Columbus got one back from Ryan Hunter, Athens sealed the win when Hunter Alden scored into the empty net his first professional goal. We are all set to go here at the Columbus Civic Center. The Rock Lobsters against the Columbus River Dragons. This is one of the best hot new rivalries we've seen in the FPHL this year. Can they continue that intensity when everything is on the line? Series advantage in the regular season goes to Athens, who are 7-5 against Columbus on the year. Waiting for some of the off-ice personnel to make their way through the corner doors. Once again, the starting five for the Rock Lobsters: Glukarioff, Weisblatt, Milan, Papapetros, Murray, Lavaliere in the net. For the River Dragons, seeing Jemayev, Somero, Underwood, Balkwill, and Bersani. The puck is dropped and the Commissioner's Cup playoffs are officially underway. Garrett Milan swats it away from the penalty box area, picked up by Balkwill from the left defensive circle, sent all the way down, and it'll be an early icing with 14 seconds gone in the first period. Best of 3 series between these two teams. If it goes all 3, the rest of the games will all be on Rock Lobster home ice. Game 2 Friday night in Athens, 7:05. Game 3 in Athens, if necessary, Saturday at 7:05. Offensive zone draw after the Columbus River Dragons icing. Shinkarik able to swat it to the far side. Avery Smith pushes it towards the end boards. River Dragons trying to clear their ice on the near side. Whisked back in around by Shinkarik. Stafora with a centering pass. Colatorsi one-times it into the shins of a River Dragon. Somero with the block shot there. Picked back up by Columbus captain Underwood. Michael Greco made the step up. Got the hit on Somero and then pushes him again in front of that River Dragon bench. Smith just reached over the red line to dump that one in on Columbus. No icing there. Kyle Moore tries to make a step there on Murray. Looks like another icing committed by Columbus. That's already 2 for the River Dragons, and still not a minute has been played yet here. Mental Hazard picking up in the chat that a random ad played during the ceremonial puck drop. I mentioned this on the Athens Rock Lobster fan page, but want to continue to be transparent here on the broadcast as we see Milan win a face-off. Murray with a shot, picked back up by Glukarioff, backhanded right over towards Babin, who makes 2 saves consecutively and freezes time with 1:02 gone. Again, I want to be transparent here on the broadcast. We have put on monetization back on to the YouTube broadcast. Let me tell you why. It's not to try and put money into our pockets. The reason why we've done this is because we have learned that it helps protect us from what's happening across the FPHL, this plague of YouTube channels for FPHL teams being taken down with paid promotion and monetization on, we're hoping that this will protect the team from having its YouTube channel taken down. Weisblatt bounces off a check in the near corner. Good win back from Glukarioff, gets it to Papapetros at the point. Papapetros trying to test Babin. Weisblatt there on the rebound, still couldn't make his way past Babin, and it looks like the Rock Lobsters are going to go a man down here. Special teams have played a huge part of this series between these two teams, and it'll be the River Dragons who have yet to log a shot in this game will go a man up and put the Rock Lobsters on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill, as Orca Weisblatt will sit for 2. Also want to tell you all that while we have put monetization on, we've put it at the biggest gap we can, which is every 30 minutes. We hope you guys understand. Thank you for being patient with us, not only today, but all season long. We thank you for your support. Columbus on the power play here early on. They've struck first over the last 2 games here at the Columbus Civic Center against the Rock Lobsters. Malik Johnson almost had to step up there, looking for an interference call, him and Virgili. They're not going to get one. Malik Johnson was well on his way to picking up that puck. Uh-oh, here we go again. I thought it might have been a hockey stick at first. What you're seeing is another one of these metal panes that hold the glass into the rink. We saw this on Saturday night, a long stoppage in play where one of these panes had fallen down on the ice. Right now, the referee's going to try and fix it himself. Looks like they've got it back in place through just the officials alone. And the play will resume with 1:27 left on the River Dragon man advantage. Face-off will happen right in front of the Athens bench. Milan against Storjahan. Milan wins it, set all the way down by Carter Shinkarik. Babin makes a play on it, leaves it for McDonald. An interesting face-off here between Milan and McDonald. Milan leading the FPHL in points this year, McDonald last year, and he tries to start the scoring on the short side of William Lavoyer. Centering pass, River Dragons have their goal. Rock Lobsters go down a man early on the penalty kill, and the River Dragons are able to convert that into an early goal, and guess who? It's Kyle Moore again. Moore having scored 2 against Athens on Friday night. For the 3rd straight game against Columbus, the Rock Lobsters are going to have to play from behind against the River Dragons. Sent up the left side, stopped by Lynn. Kayson Gallant with a race towards the puck. He gets hacked at, and here come the Rock Lobsters on the power play. Right now it feels like you can hear the blood traveling around the bodies of all the players on the ice right now. It's a high-intensity start to this game. We've already seen mistakes from the Athens end that put them shorthanded. And now the Rock Lobsters go to the Paloma Park power play. If the Rock Lobsters are able to score on the quadruple P, they will earn fans free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Usual suspects here with a man up: Shinkarik, Milan, Gallant, Virgili, and Glukarioff. What's interesting here, though, is we're seeing Shinkarik on that far wing instead of running the point the way he usually does on the man advantage. Shinkarik, Baker around, off the inboards. Milan able to get there. Virgili, the Swede, at the point. Finds Milan once again. To the right of the hash marks, Gallant, who led this league in power play goals in the regular season with 16. Virgili's pass never reached Milan, trickles out into the neutral zone, and the Rock Lobsters have to regroup with 30 seconds gone on the quadruple P. Shinkarik, pensive, off the inboards hard, all the way around toward Milan. Rock Lobsters trying to set up shop here on this power play. Glukaryov running the point. Gallant with a one-timer. Stopped by a River Dragon stick. It was going wide of Babin's net. Athens trying to get that rock rolling back down this hill here. Glukaryov can't get past two, but gets the puck in the zone. Malik Johnson with a big hit in the end boards. Centering from Daniil Glukaryov off the skate of a River Dragon all the way out of play into the stands. Athens playing down once again in this regular season series, turning into the playoff series. Saturday night, they were down just 22 seconds into the game. They didn't let that affect them, ended up winning 5-2. Little joust there on the face-off. Little mistake there, though, from Nolan Slehetka. Was a little too patient on that puck. Almost converted into a goal by Orko Weisblatt, who was there on the welcome mat. Milan out of the far corner. Papa Petros, backhand flipper. Back to the league leader in points in the FPHL. What a pass to the left circle from Milan to find Kolatarsi, but his one-timer is stopped by a big-time save by Babin. Kolatarsi able to keep it in. Malik Johnson with a slip. Slehetka trying to get that puck away from that scrum. Taking a little bit too long on that one was Storjahan, but it's helped back towards Lavaliere's net. William Lavaliere going up against his former team. Was a fan favorite here in Columbus. Both teams back at even strength. Murray with Hunter in behind him. Hunter was able to score and give the River Dragons some hope in that 5-2 loss on Saturday. That was his first goal in 7 games. Played off the skate of Shinkarik. Mistake here from the Rock Lobsters. McDonald was looking for the extra pass. He should have been looking for the shot. Could have been 2-0 Columbus. Stafora up ahead for Smith. Tries the poker on Brody Thornton there. He was involved in that Sammy Bernard trade that sent Bernard to Baton Rouge. Greco to Murray. Murray spins out of the pressure, but picked back up by the goal scorer, Kyle Moore. McDonald on the left side. Into the near corner. Murray getting pressurized by 2. Sephora able to get it out of the defensive zone, but sent back in. The River Dragons will change. A little less than 6 minutes gone here in this first period. Greco, clever one-time pass to Gallant. Gallant back around. Johnson meets it once again. Big hit into the corner on Samaro. Gallant flips it up the side. Oja, with everything he's worth, trying to keep that in. Virgili helps it back to Gallant. And now we're going to have a little fight here. As if it wasn't an entertaining, blistering start already. Johnson and Lind. Johnson with an overhand right. Lind gets helped down to the ground. Malik Johnson with a big smile on his face. Says, "Give me the belt." Malik Johnson trying to inject a little bit more jump into his team. And meanwhile, the Rock Lobsters do have the shot on goal advantage at 6-2. We go to a media timeout here. The Rock Lobsters playing from behind once again here in Columbus, but can they make it reminiscent of Saturday night where they won 5-2? Stay tuned here on the Rock Lobster Network and find out.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Back here at the Columbus Civic Center where the Rock Lobsters find themselves down 1-0 after the goal on the power play from Kyle Moore. Moore was a thorn in the Rock Lobsters' side Friday night, 2-goal performance for him. The creative stuff in on the short side on his first, another an own goal on a centering pass. Six and a half minutes gone. Thornton out of the draw, a little trickle to the right side. Storjahan tries to one-time it from the short side, right in the goal line there. Virgili tips off the stick of Gallant. Pinballing around out of midair, sent in the neutral ice by Columbus. Robertson sends it back in. The Rock Lobsters, though, with Kayson Gallant already in an offside position, will have to regroup. Dump and chase tactic here from Columbus. Orca Weisblatt sends it back to in front of the half wall. Loic Plouffe, a prospect signing with a miscue of a pass. Glukarioff dances, tries to backhand flip. It deflects it in the netting. Rock Lobsters with a shot on goal advantage to 6-3, but Kyle Moore, the difference maker thus far with this 1-0 advantage over their in-state rival. Here comes the money line for Athens, centered by the points leader in the FPHL in the regular season, Milan, who ended with 101. Papa Petros fakes the one-timer, sends a wrister that's hard off the boards, picked back up by Plouffe. Milan sticks it off the boards, picked up by Glukarioff. Weisblatt with a joust against Bockwell. Rock Lobsters trying to keep it in through the forecheck. Murray rides the line with a pass. Papa Petros, that was about helmet high there on Babin, who sticks the glove out and makes the save. They're going to stick with Weisblatt, Glukarioff, and Milan here. 12:10 remaining in the first period. Jemayeff and Milan. Weisblatt gets tied up by Underwood. That gives the River Dragons some freedom. It's hard off the glass there by Jemayeff. Glukarioff in possession of the puck in the neutral zone. Papa Petros makes the step up. Weisblatt knew where the hit was coming from. Papa Petros makes another step up. Loses the puck, but looks like there's going to be a hooking call against Columbus. The Rock Lobsters already 0 for 1 on the night on the power play. Let's see if the second time's the charm. Two of the best penalty kill teams in the FPHL facing off against one another tonight. 84.8% for fourth place for Columbus, 87.2 for the Rock Lobsters. That puts them in second, behind only the Carolina Thunderbirds. Tomorrow, playoffs will begin for the Thunderbirds as they go up against the Blue Ridge Bobcats, who earned their way into the first round after defeating the Baton Rouge Zydeco in the play-in game. Milan to the right of the hash mark. Shinkarik tries to stick it back in between the legs. There might be a 2-on-1 brewing. Short-handed for the River Dragons. Great hit from Glukarioff to stop Wickline from lining one towards Lavalier. Little return hit there. Glukarioff takes exception on the hit on Milan. Gallant, Milan, Shinkarik to Glukarioff. Great opportunity for the Russian. Not sure if he got enough mustard on it to send it towards Babin's net. Milan with a one-timer in the right circle. Dribbles out to Gallant on the near side. Good pressure here from the Rock Lobsters. Glukarioff left side of the point. Milan on the right side. Shinkarik in the circle to Virgili on the goal line. Gallant! Oh, what a save, Babin! Went down, got the glove up, and made the save. But here's Gallant again. Shinkarik off the skates. Milan into the slot. 40 seconds to go on the man advantage. Gallant in the slot. Got the shot off, but it went wide. Shinkarik up the boards. Milan in and around. Virgili centering pass. Glukarioff wide left. This is one of the best power plays we've seen from the Rock Lobsters in some time. Hopefully it results in a goal here. Glukarioff blocked out from a short distance as Wickline puts his body on the line. Milan couldn't get it in around, but it finds Kolatarsi anyway. Shinkarik looking out in front of him. Best options, Kolatarsi. Milan in the right circle. Tried to pirouette. How about the play there from the rookie, Loic Plouffe? Lavalier had it in the glove, recycled quickly towards Kolatarsi. Around the boards a little too quick. Kyle Moore will be the one to meet it first. Oh, a mistake from Shinkarik. Accidental setup for Moore. It's 2-0 River Dragons here, and bad luck for Shinkarik in this building over the last few nights. He got the final touch on Moore's second goal on Friday. Misplaced pass there finds Moore, and the River Dragons make it 2. Work for the Rock Lobsters to do now. Alden, clean face-off win. Weisblatt took a push right out of the circle. Referee stopping something there. Looks like we're going to have 2 offsetting as we potentially are going to a 4-on-4. Storjahan and Papa Petros getting escorted to the box. 2 minutes of 4-on-4 potentially coming up after this commercial break, but the Rock Lobsters have to find their footing as they are now down by 2 goals.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! for anything. Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve pro, like it never even happened.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Long pause here in play before we resume. 9 minutes, 19 seconds, 2 goals from Kyle Moore just in the first period as the Rock Lobsters will try and battle from behind, down 2-0. Only 4 shots on target as well for the River Dragons, and Wickline trying to make it more on the breakaway. It's 3. Rock Lobsters in trouble. Wickline buries the breakaway. And now the Rock Lobsters looking for a lifeline. Both teams are on the 4-on-4 here. Shinkarik after the face-off win by the Rock Lobsters. Papa Petros and Storjahan in the box. Puck never reached Glukaryov. Somero enters in on the right side of the line, right into the chest of Lavalier. .8:49 left in the first period. Exactly a minute and a half left on the 4-on-4, which the River Dragons have already scored off of. One thing is for sure, you take a look at the regular season series between these two teams. Those who owned the home ice on the night won more often than not. Glukaryov to the left side. The Rock Lobsters needed an answer. They get one from the Russian. Glukaryov, he's done well on the 4-on-4 as of late. Had a beauty on the 4-on-4 against Baton Rouge a few weeks ago. 2 bang-bang goals, one for Columbus, one for Athens on the 4-on-4. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Athens. They needed just one past Babin to start trying to get that rock rolling down the hill. They got one through Glukaryov. From Shinkarik and Milan, that goal for Glukaryov. Virgili looking for another creative backhand shot there from the Swede. He had Ozha there on the rush with him. But the Rock Lobsters have committed forward quite a bit here. Shot came in on the left side, missed right on Lavalier. Gallant, special teams maestro. Virgili pokes it toward the near boards, picked up by his fellow countryman Adam Ozha. Back for Shinkarik. Shinkaruk got the primary assist on that goal. Athens with a good symbol, a good signal that this one's not over just yet. Good save at the line from the goal scorer, Glukarioff. Little tip out in front from Milan. Shinkaruk now has it, centering feed, but two are in front of Milan. Glukarioff with a rip. On the near side, Babin got a piece of it. Now both teams back at 5 apiece after the 4-on-4, in which both teams scored a goal. Columbus to extend their lead to 3-0. The Rock Lobsters with their first of the night. That was dangerous off the skate of Papa Petros. Could have snuck in behind Lavalier, but luckily the French-Canadian was wise to it. The Fighting Majors have been served as Lind and Malik Johnson make their way back to the bench. And actually, they both won't be given the chance to get back to the bench. They'll be stuck right back out on the ice. And it's been interesting because what we know about the Rock Lobsters as of late is they haven't really been a great first period team. But have the River Dragons struck too hot and heavy here to start this game for the Rock Lobsters to climb their way back from? I don't think so. A lot of pushing and shoving. That one deflected right in front of Lavalier, and then McDonald on the doorstep. It was a brilliant pass from Hunter. Malik Johnson trying to take it coast to coast, but him and Lind. Gallant with a shot! Still loose out in front. Oh, but Babin is able to find his sights on it and cover it up. Oh my goodness gracious. It was like a game of ping pong in the way that we had to crane our heads from right to left. On the right side, the Rock Lobsters lucky not to put it in their own net. And then they almost convert to make it 3-2 through Kayson Gallant on the other side against Babin. Milan against Bersani. I have it through good sources that Bersani wanted to make sure that he was really getting himself under the skin of the Rock Lobsters over those last 2 games. Glukarioff, great fortitude to win that puck back, was unable to convert it into any offense or opportunity. Whistled in around. Poker from Robertson. Glukarioff comes away with it. Lofted pass, evades Milan into the neutral ice. River Dragons want a call there against Weisblatt. Good forecheck there from Weisblatt. The River Dragons come away with it. Stafora gets hacked. Kind of him and Bersani hacking each other, really. Weisblatt, the killer whale. Stafora sends it in. Line here is Stafora, Smith, and Shinkaruk as a forward. Hunter in behind him. Him and McDonald trying to combine once again. Shot got deflected into the inboards. Stafora tried to stay on his horse there, but Plouffe was ahead of him. Falls favorably for the River Dragons. McDonald, left circle. Kolatarski got something on that. Oh, a big, big hit in the near circle against Stafora, courtesy of Kyle Moore. Things starting to boil over here at the Columbus Civic Center. Smith tied up temporarily with McDonald. Stafora down on all fours, has yet to make his way back to his feet. Scary sight. The puck fell down right in front of Stafora, and his neck craned down to look where the puck was. So you got kind of blindsided there on the hit from Kyle Moore. Hopefully we see more of Stafora in this game. But the Rock Lobsters have one back, but still behind 2 goals. River Dragons lead 3-1. More hockey coming up here on the Rock Lobster Network. Suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
Four minutes and 50 seconds left in this first period, and there's already been 4 goals scored. The first 3 from Columbus, 2 from Kyle Moore. Cody Wickline scored on a breakaway on the 4-on-4. And thankfully, less than a minute after that, Daniil Glukaryov, also on the 4-on-4, was able to scratch the first Rock Lobster goal in this game. That is what's led us to this 3-1 scoreline. Columbus River Dragon fans getting to host this first game of the playoff series. It's a win-lose situation for them because they get to host game number 1 and use that home ice advantage, but not to its full benefit because of Wednesday night. It's much more difficult to try and draw a crowd. You can hear them in full voice right now, however, as the Rock Lobsters have an offensive zone draw. Shinkarik on a good step up here, and it looks like the Rock Lobsters are on the power play. Elbowing against the River Dragons, Kyle Moore will get called for that hit on Stafora. Virgili, brilliant pirouette. 2 bites of the cherry, both tasted sour as he missed wide on the second. Glukaryov has been running the point here on the power play. We've seen Carter Shinkarik all season long as a quarterback. Gallant down to a knee, still got the pass up to Virgili. Shinkarik, one time. Milan, one time to Glukaryov. Gallant just wide of the mark. Not sure Babin ever got anything on it. 1:10 left on the power play. Going to fix that clock for you in just a second. Milan towards the slot for Shinkarik. Bats it to Milan. Plays it with a glove out of midair. In around. Down for Gallant. Pass went under the stick of Shinkarik. Virgili to Milan in the corner. To the hash marks. Glukaryov. Milan to Virgili. Gets it poked away from him. Gets tied up there with Thornton. Shinkarik comes away with it. Poked back for Glukaryov. One time saved. 30 seconds to go on the quadruple P. Rock Lobsters already 0 for 2. 20 seconds away from it becoming 0 for 3 with a man up. Is there one last shot out of this? Rock Lobsters keep the puck in. Shinkarik has it bounce right down in front of him. Still loose out in front. Banked hard off the boards and into the neutral ice. Dragons back at even strength as the Rock Lobsters get stuffed on the power play for the 3rd time tonight. We got a whistle as Malik Johnson is down out in front of the Rock Lobster bench. I never saw what happened. And he's in great distress. Throws both gloves down to the ice. And this is not good. This is not good at all. This is not a pretty sight. Johnson didn't see the way he went down, but immediately started grabbing what I believe was the right lower extremity. Johnson with arms around the shoulders of Chris McNeely and the Columbus River Dragon athletic trainer will be helped off the ice straight to the Rock Lobster locker room. Athens was already down 1. Stafora, who's still on the bench, but don't believe we've seen him play since he took that big hit from Moore. And then Malik Johnson with something bothering his right leg. We're going to go to a commercial break here. The Rock Lobsters down 3-1 and down a couple players as well. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. Farmburger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you. The Rock Lobsters have scored in this period through Danil Glukarioff and lead the shot on goal tally to 11-6, so it's not a completely sour taste in their mouths through the first 17 and a half. However, right now they're also down a couple players, Stafora and Malik Johnson, the latter of which who was just helped off the ice, holding a lower right extremity. Good poke ahead by Weisblatt. The killer whale with a dump in. Orca with a hit in behind from against Jemayev. Jemayev absorbed it well. Murray with a flip off the penalty box boards. Glukarioff to Milan. Milan fakes the slapper. Puck's to loose out in the left circle. Weisblatt there to answer it. Surrounded by two Columbus players. Doherty to the line. Papapetros with a shot over the bar. Off the glass hard. The Russian, the goal scorer, Glukarioff. Back to Papapetros. Milan in the office, gets edged out, tries to poke it ahead for himself. Dug out of the corner by Doherty. One back by Milan. Tried to toe drag in the slot. Stopped by the captain, Underwood. Minute and a half to go in this first period of Game 1 of the Commissioner's Cup quarterfinals. It's been a downer of a period for Athens, but if they can get one more in this first 20, It might lift their spirits a little bit more into the second period. Papa Petros cuts the ice with a pass to Virgili. Virgili out to the left side. Shinkarik with a shot wide on Babin. Virgili was hard to the net, and with exactly a minute left, time will stop. Virgili trying to follow that pass towards the crease from Shinkarik. I think he might have taken a push in behind that caused the collision between him and Babin. Interesting here, after the injury from Malik Johnson, who's usually on this line with Virgili and Gallant, Shinkarik has moved in between this dynamic duo of the Swede and the Canadian. Columbus with a face-off win in their defensive ice, now pinned to the near boards. Coming away with it is Loic Plouffe. Good moves there from the rookie. Wickline, who scored in this one, can only find the blade of Kolatarsi's stick, who sends Gallant from east to west. Plouffe has it back. Off the shins of Kolatarsi. All the way back to the other blue line as Plouffe will dump in. Kolatarsi ahead for Milan. Milan off the boards towards Smith. Connor Lind ahead for Somero. Pops kindly for Bersani, followed up by Lind. Luckily, it was a soft pop for Lavalier to catch. 2.6 seconds left. We'll see if we can get to the first intermission before some more extracurricular activities emerge here on the ice of the Columbus Civic Center. Ever since the first hit against Andrew Stafora that resulted in the rookie's injury, Michael Greco has definitely let his displeasure be known here. Off the far board, sent back in around by Bersani. Him and Michael Greco getting face-to-face with one another. We talked about it earlier. Bersani, from a couple inside sources I have here in the organization, made it a point over the last 2 games to get under the skin of the Rock Lobster players. He thought that that might benefit him when the playoffs come around. We'll see by the time it all ends at its latest Saturday night how much it will pay off for Bersani and the River Dragons. As of right now, Columbus is off to a good start here against the Rock Lobsters in front of their home crowd. A 3-1 advantage they'll carry into the locker room for the first intermission. 2 back-to-back from Kyle Moore. And then after the second from Moore, about 21 seconds later, Wickline would score on a breakaway on the 4-on-4 to make it 3-0. Luckily, Daniil Glukaryov was able to scratch one back and beat Trevor Babin to open up the scoring for Athens as they try to battle back from a 3-goal deficit. Well, this is a rivalry between 2 teams that has been hot and heavy since the first time these 2 teams met, all the way back. You might remember that last-second goal from Kayson Gallant here in this building to send the game into overtime. And Gallant is someone we'll talk about later, but the rivalry between these 2 teams, the difference in playoff hockey, these are just a couple of discussion topics between the talk of me and head coach Steve Martinson. As always, here is our Coach's Corner segment with head coach Steve Martinson. Hey, Crustacean Nation, welcome back to Coach's Corner here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. At the time of recording, the team is heading into a best-of-3 series in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs against the Columbus River Dragons, who they just split a 2-game set with this past weekend in Columbus. Play-by-play voice Matt Rad joined, as always, by head coach Steve Martinson. Coach Marty, you were able to get one back on Columbus in a 5-2 win after a loss on Friday night. How important was it to wrap up the regular season on a high note, especially when it came against your first-round opponent?
Yeah, I mean, it's you want that momentum going into the playoffs that you win the last game against them. So, yeah, I thought it was, critical to get that game. And then, I get back on our A game. I thought our power play on Friday night wasn't very good. And really that was the difference of the game.
There were a few big milestones in that Saturday night win. First, Garrett Milan was able to hit the century mark in points and finish the season atop the league in scoring. I remember how excited you were in camp when he was completing his signing to come play here, but was leading the league in scoring and scoring 100 points an achievement you believed he could reach at that time?
Well, 100 points is a lot of points. I thought he would lead the league in scoring. And I think, in our division, you look at the guys that got traded to Monroe from the North, they were basically a point a game, some almost a goal a game, and they come to our division and they're not even a point a game. Our division is tougher. And so for him to get 100 points, it's, it's just outstanding. And obviously he plays with a lot of good players that, that help him, achieve what he did. But, he's a great player, and it isn't just scoring with him. He leads with, work ethic, physical play, going to the dirty areas. He's just really a great all-around player.
On top of that, Kayson Gallant would score goal number 40 and lead the league in goals for this season as well. He's been able to use his speed, his shot, patience, stick handling, his IQ to be able to reach that high tally. Is there a quality about his play that sticks out to you, or is he just kind of a well-rounded guy?
Well, he's got good speed. Number one, he can skate, and he's got a great shot, and he likes to score. One of the things that you'll see with goal scorers is that they like to score. Now, everybody likes to score, so it's kind of a cliche to say that, but, he likes to score in practice, and he's got he just put the work in. And we talked about at the beginning of the year that if he could repeat what he did in college, he only played 1 year, but if he could score like I saw him on his highlight tape, it would be a big boost for us and something that we were looking for to make, a couple of lines be top lines in the league, and it worked out perfect. And, to be a true rookie, there was other guys that in our league, we talked about it before, the rookie rule in our league, is 56 games, which is ridiculous. It's just, anyway, he's a true rookie first year, and he led the league in goals. It's just outstanding. And again, he plays with some good players, Malik, and he's been with Phil all year, and those guys have a great combination together. They work well together.
Last milestone of the night, Hunter Alden was able to score his first pro goal in the final 10 seconds of the season on the empty net. And it was just one of the great feel-good moments of the year. He's someone who works so hard. He gets the small details of the game right. The puck just hadn't been falling for him on the year. How was that for you as a moment to sign off the regular season and create kind of a rallying point for the team going into the playoffs?
I like guys to get individual goals and reach individual goals, and it isn't my top priority, but you like to have it, you like to see it be done. And at the time on the bench, Malik turned to me and said, "Hey, let's get Hunter out there." And I hadn't thought about it at the time, to be honest with you. And it's like, okay. And we've done that before when we have guys that have 2 goals, we'll get them out at the end, or guys that are looking, to get something going. And so, we're trying to move the puck, and Phil almost scored on the empty net when it was because he came out of the box and wasn't on board. Naturally he was just trying to shoot the puck down the ice in the net. So, Alton's been a great foot soldier all year. And, when you see something like that, I'm sure the visiting crowd was like, why are they celebrating so much? But you could see the genuine reaction from our bench and the players that Alden got that play in the last play of the game. So yeah, it was great to see it happen. Alden's a good guy, and it was fun to see him, get that And he almost missed. He had a one-timer he almost missed right before it. He probably wouldn't have slept that night if he didn't get it after he missed the one right before that.
It's funny you brought up that moment where Malik nudges you too, because I was curious on how that all developed on Alden finding himself on the ice during the empty net. But it almost seemed like a different team in that second period in that game where you score 3 goals in the second, not only from the first period in that game, but maybe even from the 3 periods the night before that as well. Was there anything that was said in the locker room in the first intermission? And if there was, do those kinds of things said in the locker room, do those come from you or do those come from the leadership in the team?
Well, it's always a combination of both. I mean, I'll talk about coaching aspects that, but I have a lot of faith in the guys that I have in the room, to say and do the right things. And it's things that we talk about all year. But, what we were talking about before the game is we want our D to be aggressive, but the forwards got to cover for them. And we had odd man rushes the night before where the forwards weren't covering when the D pinched. And, you can't cheat. One of the things, if you cheat and we don't get the puck, forwards can't expect the defenseman to pinch, get their man, and get the puck and pass it to him. So we got caught on the wrong side of our players. A couple of our forwards were caught down low below the goal line when the defense pinched. Something that, like I said, we talked about before the game, and then to give it up the first shift of the game, I thought it was a weak goal. And, it was a frustrating way to start the game because when you score early, it has a chance to give you momentum. But, we feel like we're the better team. And the night before, like I said, we hurt ourselves in not scoring on the power play and giving up too many odd man rushes by just handing them a gift, not where they necessarily beat us.
And then in that Friday game too, 23 shots on goal. Do you think that was more of an issue of generating shot opportunities or just the quality of shots?
Yeah, well, I never go by the shot clock. I mean, the shot clock is normally never correct. I mean, the shots were even. I think we outshot them by a little bit in the first night. I can't remember now, but it was over 30 shots. So, visiting teams, you got volunteers that I don't pay any attention to that. I'm looking at scoring chances. I just thought our power play wasn't generating enough offense. And, we had a 4-on-2. We turned it over. We had multiple chances that we didn't dig down and make plays and, just made another adjustment and hopefully our power play is going tonight.
Carter Shinkarik is someone who we've talked all year about, and he has tremendous flexibility. He's been one of the best defensemen this season, but you've also used him to maybe spread talent a little bit around the forward lines. How are you leaning towards using him in the playoffs right now?
Well, we're going to use him where we think we need him the most. And right now, they have a strategy that they're trying. And so he's playing center tonight again. He'll go back to center. And really, I think we're deep all the way through the lineup, and we're especially deep at defense. So it affords us to be able to move him up. He's naturally a center. He's only played defense for a couple of years, as we've talked before. So, yeah, I mean, he led the league in scoring as a defenseman, and he can jump up in the play. But right now we're on the road. We don't get last change. And so he's playing center tonight.
It feels like it becomes a bit of a chess match between you and Columbus. You just faced them twice. Now the stakes are heightened as you play them in the playoffs. Does that dynamic of familiarity between these two teams, is that something that brings you comfort, or is there a sense of uneasiness of how well these two teams know each other?
Well, it's not uneasiness on my part. I mean, I think what for us to have success in the playoffs, everybody needs to play their A game. They don't have to play above it, but don't play below it, and limit the turnovers. We had a goal against on Saturday night. We had full possession of the puck, and we lobbed it across ice on just a hope play. We're up 4-1, and they end up takes a bad bounce, and they score from the top. It was another bad, a shot from out. I didn't like any of the play, but it was a situation where we just need to get the puck in deep. And I made it really clear this morning that if you're not getting the puck in deep, and if you're trying to put the puck to one of my things that I can't stand is when the players put the puck in the defenseman's skates and try to go through them instead of around them. And I brought it up before. We did it multiple times, on the weekend, and it's either dumb or selfish. And I've just made it really clear this morning is that if you're playing that way, you're not being a team player and you're not being smart. So we want to get pucks in deep. We think that that's our strength is if we don't have a play in the rush, like we could score on the rush, but you can't force it. One of the things that we did 4-on-4 was, we forced plays that we didn't have to, and we do that. Typically, you turn the puck over. So to me, if we play a smart game and don't beat ourselves, we're going to be really, really hard to beat.
It obviously makes sense from a logistical standpoint, and these are the kinds of things I love talking to you about because every league can be different. The FPHL has its own little quirks, but what are your thoughts on being the higher seed and having to travel back to Columbus for game one?
Yeah, I mean, I like a best of 7. Best team wins the best of 7, 95% of the time. A short series. I mean, it's up for grabs. I mean, they've got a really good goalie, and we saw it all year. We had goalie steal games from us. So that's tonight. One of the things we talked about is like I said, you got to limit your mistakes and make sure you're capitalizing your chances because it's down to the final games. It isn't like, well, okay, we'll get them next time. So I'm not in love with the best of 3. Yeah, you have to start out on the road. You travel more than they do, and the home team travels more. So it's nothing that I care for, but it's something that it's what the league has, and it's the hand we're dealt, and you just got to take advantage of it best you can.
You bring up their goaltender, Trevor Babin, and he's an interesting profile. I'm curious what your thoughts are on him because he does make a great save, a litany of great saves in the game, but also he has this profile of being the goaltender that's led the league among goaltender penalty minutes, I believe, 2 or 3 years in a row. Is that something that's unusual? Is that sort of the kind of profile you've come across in a goaltender before?
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I played with Ron Hextall, and he was a great fighter. And back in those days, we literally had bench clearing brawls, and he would grab, and he was this tall, skinny guy, and he would fight other tough guys. He was a really good fighter. And the Flyers said, "Hey, Hexy, no more fighting. Like that's it. Stay. Your job is to stop the puck." He was kind of haunted with that his whole career. But yeah, I mean, Babin, he actually got in a fight with I think Malik. He came out and he actually jumped him. But the nice thing about that is it's a little bit easier to get under a goalie's skin when they're that type of a hothead. But I wouldn't want my goalie to be like that. He's not a player; he's a goalie. And but if he wants to exercise those options this week, by all means, please do.
And speaking of which, it was a really physical game to end the season without really anything at stake, really. I mean, obviously, you want to try and get advantage on the team that you're about to play, but in terms of the standings, nothing there. Do you expect a more careful approach from the two teams in a postseason environment, or do you think the physicality ramps up to even another level?
Well, we want to be physical. We want to be as physical as the rules allow. I mean, that's, I think that's in our favor. We have the heavier team, the bigger team. So, we want to play a physical game and we want to finish our checks. But, in the whistles, like they had the one play, on Friday night that 5 guys were, and we're trying to be disciplined. I talked about not getting involved in that stuff after the whistle. And I was shocked that it came out to be, even up for us. That was ridiculous. But like I said, you got to try to make it so that calls like that don't make a difference in the game. So, we want to be physical, but we don't want to take penalties. We want to stay out of the box. They've got some pretty good players on their power play, and we don't want to take bad penalties, and we certainly don't want to take penalties in the offensive zone or stick infractions and retaliations. You got all day long. You're playing. Until you win your first game, you're playing the team again, and if there's something that happens with a player, you got all kinds of opportunity to get them again. So there's no room in the playoffs to retaliate. We want to win the game. That's the most important thing, is winning the game now.
You obviously have a lot more experience than me in this sport, and I was curious. I've never seen anything like it. There's a long stoppage in play in the rink trying to replace that pane of glass. You come back and 2 players have been sent out of the game. Have you seen anything like that?
Well, that was one of they had 2 guys on Andrew, and the guy ripped his jersey right apart. And so we had to go in and sew it. And then again, he didn't even he got like a 2-minute penalty, and Andrew got one. And I mean, it was, the only thing I could call it is just a ridiculous call. And, we lose them for basically the whole period because you can't play with your jersey like that. So, it's one of the frustrations that I have and how stuff like that gets sorted out. But, that's what we're dealing with, and you just got to try to make the best of it and not put the referees in a position to hurt you.
It's something you've already mentioned that, 3 games is such a short series, and there's such a little margin of error. Are there small details you've been trying to cement into your team before game 1?
Well, it's really, we went over some stuff this morning, and it's nothing new. It's things that we've been working all year. They try face-off plays, and you got to make sure that we're not, we left the center uncovered a couple of times, and it's one-on-one hockey. It's things you take the draw, you lose the draw, you cover the center. It's some of the things we're just reminding people that, if you're out against 7, they're usually running a face-off play. If they win the draw, and he's good on the draws. So, right now they're trying to match that line against Carter, and there's things that I'm doing to get the matchup that I want. And if Carter's line is playing against him, they play against him. But you got to be ready to go off the faceoffs. And again, making sure we're not giving up odd man rushes. If you give an odd man rush up, you want it because they blocked a shot, not because you cheated, or you were hoping that somebody was going to make a play or you gambled. You want the odd man rushes because, it's just something really fell in their favor. And like I said, on Friday night, it was just too many where we just handed them an opportunity.
I know you've been feeling out what you want the personnel for the postseason to be over these last few games. Are you at a point where you know who your best 18 guys are going to be tonight, or is that something you'll get a better feel of when you enter the arena?
No, I mean, we're going to go with a little better defensive lineup tonight because we don't get last change. In our rink, we get last change, so I might make adjustments to that. And it's a tough time of year for me and some of the players because there's not much that separates guys. And sometimes guys are in because they're a left shot.
Sorry to cut our Coach's Corner short. Of course, you can always catch the rest of those here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, and also ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. Well, a couple of updates here after that period to forget for the Rock Lobsters. There's a change in net for Athens. Josh Rosenzweig has come out and is now between the pipes for head coach Steve Martinson. Also, Malik Johnson and Andrew Stafora have returned to the Athens Rock Lobster bench and came skating out onto the ice to the start of this second period. Trevor Babin has been the more troubled goaltender in this game. He's already made 11 saves through the first 20 minutes of this one. And he is trying to make it back-to-back wins for himself against Athens. Of course, he was the goaltender in that Friday night win for Columbus, 3-1 against the Rock Lobsters. Jerome Bouchard ended up going to Matt Patizzi in the next night. Wonder how much familiarity in a goaltender plays a part in these playoffs. Of course, Patizzi is someone that the Rock Lobsters have come to really know across this season. And Babin, we saw him once in Motor City, and I just saw him again here in Columbus. Away we go here in the second period. Rock Lobsters with work to do, down 3-1. Papa Petros glides through the neutral ice. Whistles it all the way around for Weisblatt. Murray at the point. Papa Petros to the slot. Milan can't direct it toward Babin. Jemayev chasing the dump in. Papa Petros escorts him to the boards. Good centering feed was cut out by the Rock Lobsters. Here comes a 3-on-2 the other way. Murray tried to get back to Milan. Nice little backhander at the far side, but Glukaryov was unable to trouble Babin at the back door. Rosenzweig leaves it in the office for Murray. Papa Petros to the right. Cuts the ice with a pass to Glukaryov. Backhand flip, Virgili. Nice little ride to the crease, saved by Babin. One time, Malik Johnson, his first action since leaving the ice, is a one-timer that's saved by Babin. Already looking like a better start here for the Rock Lobsters. Unfortunately, they put themselves in a position where they just need to amp it up to 11 and keep it there. But this game is not over, not by a long shot. Shot came out of the faceoff from Oja once again. Glove saved by Babin. Rock Lobsters have a win against Babin this year when he was a member of the Motor City Rockers. But then he defeated Athens Friday night here in the Columbus Civic Center. Malik Johnson, good poke check that got it to the line for Oja. Now he'll chase this one. Centering pass, Virgili couldn't get anything on it. He gets tied up with, I believe, Brody Thornton there, and the Rock Lobsters are once again going to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. I think that one will go down as some sort of either hold or a hook. Virgili to the box. The River Dragons, who opened up the scoring on the power play from Kyle Moore, will now go back to the man advantage. Milan with a face-off win. Greco sent it out, took a tip from McDonald. It does go down as a holding against Virgili. McDonald to Moore. Moore took a second to settle it, so he had to go back. Hunter here on the near side of the point, able to exchange with Moore. Moore back to Hunter. In front of the two circles, sends a shot, pass out to the right side. McDonald picks it up off the boards. Off the skate of Greco hard, took it wide of Rosenzweig. Underwood. McDonald couldn't get it his way on the one-timer in the right circle. Storjahan gets himself to the far corner. Underwood squeezes the calves together. Kept that one from running between his legs. Good step up from Kolatarsi. Gets it out of the zone, into the neutral ice. Stuck back in by Hunter. Great pass towards McDonald, who let it run. Puck kept in by Columbus. Puck loose out in front. Storjahan couldn't get it past Rosenzweig. Rosenzweig back in the net for the Rock Lobsters. Oh, but the River Dragons have goal number 4, and it comes from number 4. Alex Storjahan with a man up scores on the power play to make it 4-1. Was a great start to the period for Athens. Then Philip Virgili gets called for the holding. River Dragons, a very, very good power play team when they want to be. They've had their struggles like the Rock Lobsters this year. Ranking right in the middle of the pack, 7th out of 14 teams in the FPHL. Clean face-off win from Carter Shinkarik, a former Columbus River Dragon himself. Rosenzweig makes a play on it. Misplayed by Nash Hatcher. Avery Smith challenges Babin in front of the blue line. Easy save for Babin to make. No doubt, the first thing that you'll notice will be the efficiency from Columbus in this game. Still just 8 shots on goal, and yet 4 goals for them. Through about 23 and a half minutes played. Still a lot of game to be played here. Off win. Robertson to Oja. Looking for a tip out in front. Oh my God, Babin found a way to save that, but not for too much longer. Andrew Stafora, who took an injury in the first period, is able to get some revenge and score to make it 4-2. Andrew Stafora, with his third goal as a Rock Lobster, is able to get Athens back to within 2. We'll redo the faceoff after that Rock Lobster goal. Once again, bang-bang goals between the two teams. That'll basically nullify the change in the scoreline as Shinkarik misses over the bar. Oja and Smith on the assists. Smith dives for it. Shinkarik, pirouette in the slot. Blocked by the River Dragons out in front. Adam Oja in front of Rosenzweig's net. Recollects up the right side. Robertson trying to get it to Smith at the opposing blue line. McDonald eases it to Hunter. Rosenzweig swallows it up. Big time save from the Rose. The Rock Lobsters able to keep themselves within a 2-goal striking distance. First from Daniil Glukarioff to make it 3-1, and again from Stafora to make it 4-2. Rock Lobsters trying to show some fortitude after having 2 3-goal deficits against them in this game. Puck to be won in the faceoff circle. Sent in around by Columbus. Murray gets there ahead of Somero. Glukarioff gets taken down to the ice. A clear trip. And the Rock Lobsters will have a power play of their own. However, this is a Rock Lobster team in the scope of this opening playoff game has been better 5-on-5 than they have on the power play. Currently 0 for 3 through the first period on the power play. But this is a perfect time and a perfect place to change that. Alexander Jemayev will sit. 2 minutes for tripping. Milan, Gallant, Weisblatt, Virgilian, Glukarioff. The 5-man unit with a man up against the River Dragons. Tumble there from Milan. River Dragons get it out. Another breakaway here from the River Dragons. Forehand, backhand. Did that one go in? Yes, it did, say the officials. Bersani on the breakaway. Buries it. Rosenzweig can't believe that one's going to count. Head coach Steve Martinson irate as well, as he'll go to the front row in front of his bench. As the River Dragons for now make it a 5-2 game, scoring 11 seconds into the shorthand. Showing once again the struggles of this Rock Lobster power play. Hunter Bersani is someone who scored just 2 goals in the regular season. We talked about the mind games that he brought to the ice the last couple games as well as the beginning of the game tonight. Deep discussion happening in front of the Rock Lobster bench, as the officials have the unfortunate task to explain head coach Steve Martinson just how and why that goal is going to count, which it will. Rosenzweig still frustrated that one's going to go down as a goal, but the Rock Lobsters have to keep their focus here, and this becomes a power play that they have to score on. Milan with a face-off win. Glukarioff from the left side. Glukarioff with a little bit of speed. Centering takes a trickle. River Dragons got first touch to it. Forecheck. Wins it back for the Rock Lobsters. Virgili to Milan. Milan. Virgili lost it in the skates, pokes it back to Shinkarik, who's now back in that quarterback position on the power play. Took the banker from Millsy. Right circle, Milan. Forehand, backhand on Babin. Tried to go short side on him. Pad save from Babin. Gallant back to Shinkarik. Milan, a step in front of the right circle. Gallant, one-time pass. Glukarioff in the slot. Missed wide left on Babin. Gallant with a pass that doesn't find a Rock Lobster teammate before heading back into the neutral zone. Philip Virgili, hard to the net. Gallant out in front. Shot blocked by traffic out in front, and it looks like we have a slashing call. Who will it be going against? Looks like the River Dragon. There in the mix is Nathan Balkwill. He's getting escorted to the penalty box. The Rock Lobsters will have some time here with a two-man advantage. This is a power play that they must score on. We're going to a commercial break here. Stick with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. More playoff hockey to come.
68. We've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. We'd like to thank all of you who are tuning in tonight from Paloma Park, as the Rock Lobsters are having a stream party there at Paloma Park. Rock Lobsters on the Paloma Park power play, trying to score up 2 men here. Gallant, Milan, up toward Glukarioff at the goal line. In front of the left circle, puck still loose out in front, but taken away by Thornton and sent all the way down. Rock Lobsters have to quickly recycle to try and make the most of this two-man advantage. Milan gets it in, but passes it to Lind, who sends it a little less than 200 feet down. Rock Lobsters still have 1 minute and 23 left with a 5-on-4, as the 5-on-3 will run out. Gallant with a play of the skate. Milan here on the right side finds the Red Deer Rocket. Shinkarik. Gallant fakes the one-timer. Trying to stuff it between the saloon door, down on the ice, and here come the River Dragons trying to create a break once again, down shorthanded. Jemayev instead will opt for the one-hand push on the dump-in and take a spot on the bench. Papa Petros able to glide with his skates, lost his stick, saved by Shinkarik at the point. Milan in the right circle. Glukarioff, rather Virgili, behind the goal line. Milan took his spot. Papa Petros in the slot. Shinkarik off the boards to Fora. Good stick handling. Milan in the slot, misses over the bar. Papapetros picks it back up. Shinkarik, good move. Got the pass to his veteran partner. Puck still loose out in front. Papapetros on the wraparound. Babin with the pad save keeps it out. Babin with a tremendous performance thus far, as frustration continues to build for the Rock Lobsters. Forecheck there from the River Dragons resulted in another shot on Rosenzweig's net. It was Nash Hatcher with the tenacity there. Johnson looking for a touch out in front from Stafora. McDonald started his route towards Rosenzweig's net, waiting for the pass. Didn't make it to him, and Rosenzweig was forced to make a play out of his crease. Johnson. Papapetros makes sure it never reached Rosenzweig. There's been a lot of those passes that the Rock Lobsters have created trouble for themselves with their passing at times in their own zone. Athens down 5-2 here. Steadily approaching the halfway mark of regulation. And the Rock Lobsters in need of 3 goals. Shot at the line from Thornton. Pad save from Rosenzweig, it's in. McDonald and the River Dragons are having it their way against Athens. It's an unfortunate sight to behold, but it's a sight nonetheless. This ties the most goals scored against the Rock Lobsters in a game this season. It came the day after Thanksgiving against the Carolina Thunderbirds. 6-2 loss for Athens. Oja surrounded by 2 behind the net. River Dragons trying to make it 7 here. Underwood not going to be able to save it at the blue line. Rosenzweig with a touch of it off his stick, picked up by Orca Weisblatt. Backhanded hard from Underwood off the end boards. Centering pass. There was presence out in front, but the shot eventually came from the right side, and Underwood both teams making changes before this next face-off. 10 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the middle frame. Rock Lobsters in need of someone who can step up and force the light at the end of the tunnel to be a little bit wider. Murray. Gallant eases it towards Johnson. Virgili on the near side. Virgili towards the slot. Saves it at the line. Gallant at the goal line, knuckleballed it into the air towards Johnson. Trying to ease it back towards the back door. Gallant, heavy open ice hit there on Hatcher. Slahetka. Blocker save from Rosenzweig on the shot from the D-man. Awkward bounce off the corner boards. A blessing for the Rock Lobsters. No icing, say the officials. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in this second period. Stafora, hard slam on the break. U-turn. Avery Smith looking for the hit. Stafora stopped it at the boards. Shinkarik trying to shake it loose, pops up after the poke from Smith into the netting. We'll stop time with 9:06 to go. The Rock Lobsters in need of a catalyst here as they're down 6-2 here at the Columbus Civic Center. They're looking for a change, and they're hoping it'll come quick.
This is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Rock Lobster fans, the chase for the Commissioner's Cup is on, and your Athens Rock Lobsters are going to try and claw their way to glory, be part of the madness this postseason, and turn the tank into the loudest barn in the league. Don't miss your chance to witness every hit, every goal, and game-winning moment as the Rock Lobsters battle for the ultimate prize. Postseason tickets are on sale now. Grab yours at rocklobstershockey.com today, or take your phone out and scan this QR code. Let's pack the tank and make some playoff magic, because in the postseason, teams are going to learn to hashtag Fear the Claw. Fans, we're going to need you in the tank Friday and potentially Saturday, hopefully, if the Rock Lobsters can get a win back and extend this series. Games. You don't want to discount this Rock Lobster team. There's still a lot of game left in this one as Murray has his shot deflected out to the far side, picked back up by Weisblatt. However, the Rock Lobsters in this game have already conceded what is tied for the most goals they've let up in the regular season. Came 6-2 against the Thunderbirds. Rosenzweig into the corner. Papa Petros to Murray. Weisblatt taking up a spot on the near side. Milan ahead in the direction of Glukarioff. Didn't make it there. The rookie backhand shot came from Hatcher. Rosenzweig with a glove save. Someone's getting sent to the box here. Milan not liking what the referee has to say as Troy Murray is going to take a seat in the sin bin. Second period has gone from bad to worse for the Rock Lobsters. Unfortunately, down as many goals as they are, the Rock Lobsters have to show a little bit more on the penalty kill. Virgili able to win the faceoff. Greco helps it to the near side for Johnson. Johnson gets wiped out from behind. Hunter lost a grasp of possession of the puck right after taking it over, and as he was able to recollect it, gets whistled for the offsides. Next faceoff going to happen in front of the River Dragon bench. Kolatarski sends it down. Johnson not giving up, chases it down. Gets taken away from his skates by McDonald. Rock Lobsters on the Leslie Jones Law. Penalty kill. Whistling shot on the far side from Storjahan. McDonald dancing around the right circle. Finds Hunter in the opposite circle, who has it run between his legs off the boards. Here's Hunter again. These two always trying to find each other, it feels, McDonald and Hunter. Moore. Centering feed. Through the crease of Rosenzweig. Underwood. Left side for Hunter. Michael Greco took something up high there, I believe, from McDonald. The Columbus power play will end. Two former teammates don't seem to miss each other too much, Greco and McDonald. McDonald doesn't like it. It looks like Greco will also sit, however. We'll see if that's just a offsetting roughing call for the two teams. Let's see the numbers that come out on the ice. Now it looks like Athens with 3 skaters out there. And Columbus with 5. See if there's any explanation here. Remains a power play here. Slapper from the point. Rosenzweig with the initial save and then swatted out of midair down the ice. Storjahan gets it in. Rosenzweig makes a play on it. Slahetka had Milan in front of him. Whistle for hand pass goes against Columbus. The Rock Lobsters have not played with this kind of deficit before this season. Virgili wins the draw. Troy Murray out of the box. Both teams now skating 5 apiece, despite the penalties from McDonald. Oh, and now Murray wants a piece of everybody out on the ice. Murray, fresh out of the box, will be heading right back in. I think it might go down as a boarding call against Murray. Looks like the River Dragons will put one in as well, though, as Doherty goes into the box. Murray indeed going for boarding, as there's 6 minutes left here in this middle frame, and it's kind of lumbering towards its latter stages. Going off the rails on a crazy train. That definitely feels like what this game has come to at this stage. Looks like there was a penalty taken by Babin, which will be served by Doherty. Both teams here skating at 4 apiece. Roughing the call against Babin. Storjahan shot. Didn't challenge Rosenzweig. Kolatarski gets it helped onto his stick by Virgili. Gallant trying to win it off Wickline. Virgili grabs the pass from Wickline out of midair. The 4-on-4 created some fireworks in the first period. Goals from both teams on the 4-on-4. Here we go again. Shot, let it rip. Kyle Moore looking for the hat trick here. Moore scored the first 2 goals of the night. Right side face-off for the River Dragons. Good tenacity there from Papapetros off the face-off. Drops it for Milan. Off the glove of Babin, stuck back in towards Papapetros, who took a cross-check from in behind from Balkwill. The Rock Lobsters will have a power play now. This game continues to just delve deeper and deeper into the depths. Let's see if somebody can get a grip here. We're going to a commercial timeout here. The Rock Lobsters looking for some light at the end of the tunnel, down 6-2.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve pro. Like it never even happened.
Rock Lobsters down 6-2 here, which matches the scoreline of their heaviest defeat of the season, which came at the hands of the Carolina Thunderbirds. Last year, the River Dragons were the FPHL regular season champions. They ended up falling to Carolina in the Commissioner's Cup semifinals in 3 games. This game's not over yet, despite the heavy deficit, and even if it is, the series is definitely not over, as the Rock Lobsters will have 2 games on their home ice to try and take the series. Rock Lobsters on the power play here. Nice steal there from Bersani. And the net is empty here. Rock Lobsters with the extra attacker. Interesting here from head coach Steve Martinson, trying to roll the dice here and throw everything at this Columbus net. Milan fakes a slapper. Glukarioff at the goal line. Slapper from Gallant. They get one back. Roll of the dice works out for now from the Rock Lobsters and head coach Steve Martinson as they rip one past Babin. Kayson Gallant, who ended the regular season leading the FPHL in goals with 40, is able to get one past Babin. Still a long way to go for the Rock Lobsters. Josh Rosenswag back into the net. The goal from Kayson Gallant to make it a 6-3 game. What's going on here? So it's back to 4-on-4 after the power play goal from the Rock Lobsters. And they were up 2 skaters after they emptied the net of Josh Rosenswag as well. Virgili and Milan on the goal from Gallant. Shinkarik out to the left. Milan. Gallant looking to do it again. Glove save, a tremendous one from Babin. Still haven't changed the scoreboard here at the Columbus Civic Center, which still reads 6-2. But it is a 6-3 game. Rock Lobsters with their 3rd of the night. Kayson Gallant on the power play to cut the deficit to 3. Feels strange to even say with the way that the Rock Lobsters have played this year. It's definitely a game that's out of the ordinary for the resume that Athens has built in its inaugural season. Virgili trying to force it to Papapetros. Papapetros with a good recovery. Gets it into the end boards. Weisblatt jousting with Thornton. Comes loose for Lind. Around the boards. One-timed from the far side by Murray. River Dragons trying to transition defense into offense to get whistled for an offsides. 3.5 minutes left in this middle period. Rock Lobsters with 3 goals tonight. Glukaryov, Stafura, and Gallant. Dumped in by Columbus. Comes loose for Milan, off the boards. Greco, back to Milan. Drop for Glukaryov, pad save from Babin. Trickles out of the zone. Greco, hard backhander to Glukaryov, who was right in front of the half wall. Would be an all-time comeback if the Rock Lobsters could do the unthinkable tonight. Hard off the boards from Kolatarsi. Milan doing the dirty work in the forecheck. Off the glass towards the center of the ice. Kolatarsi sticks it back in. Jamaev gets a tip. Ahead for Doherty, who got his big body toward the crease. Doherty at 6'5", doing battle there with Robertson at 6'6". Shinkarik with a shot that catches Babin up high. Didn't know much about it, but made the save. Ozia looking for a tip out in front from his fellow Swede. One back by Shinkarik. Shinkarik with a shot, pad save, back over to the Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik with a tip in, and they make it a 2-goal game. Is the unthinkable going to happen? Still a long way to go, but it's 6-4 now. Carter Shinkarik spent most of the season deployed as a defenseman. Has been so lately by head coach Steve Martinson as a forward. He gets up in the mix, and it comes off his body and forced in to make it a 6-4 game. Back-to-back unanswered goals for the Rock Lobsters, and they're within 2. It's just a 2-goal game now. Columbus, who have done so well in this game, have been so efficient, have scored on 6 of their 19 shots. But they have to make sure, after driving most of the way to their destination, that they don't fall asleep at the wheel. 10 goals in this game, split among these teams, 6-4. Columbus continues to lead. Smith, confident in front of Rosenzweig's net. Stafura, unable to poke it towards Shinkarik. Robertson gets the pass from Ozia. Splits the ice with a pass towards Stafura, who tips it in at the blue line. Goals galore here in Columbus. 6 goals here in the second period alone, which is 22 seconds away from entering its last minute of play. Right now, that goal is being attributed to Daniil Glukaryov on the Federal Hockey website. Thought it was Shinkarik who got the last touch. We'll see if we can take another look. Weisblatt, centering pass. Glukaryov wrestled down to the ice. Milan in front of the half wall. Glukaryov. As of right now, he's on hat trick watch. Weisblatt. Good stick handling, but we've got a whistle. Josh Rosenzweig was heading to the bench, so I believe the Rock Lobsters are going to the power play once again. Ryan Hunter getting called for an infraction. And the Rock Lobsters have scored on the power play tonight. However, it came after they scored on the power play and also had their net emptied. So with a minute left of the middle frame, the Rock Lobsters, having already scored on the power play tonight and earning fans free churros for 24 hours through the Fan Saves app at Paloma Park, I'm sure good news for all the fans that are watching at Paloma Park tonight. Can the Rock Lobsters make it a one-goal game before going back into the tunnel? Gallant. Backhand flip to Virgili past the goal line. Virgili. Up the right side. Ripper from Shinkarik. Pat save Babin. Sent down by Columbus. The Rock Lobsters trying to give Carrie M a birthday gift here today by completing one of the craziest comebacks you'll ever see. But will it happen? Rosenzweig down to his knees. Will play it out of the air. Gallant. Is there one more shot here? Glukharov going to be unable to shepherd it into his possession and try and fire a shot off. But the Rock Lobsters will start the third period with 1 minute of power play remaining. This has been an insane game thus far between these two teams. And that was proven as such after a 6-goal period split between these two. 3 goals for Athens, 3 goals for Columbus. It has not been pretty from an Athens perspective, not by any means. Columbus has scored 6 goals on 19 shots. Nearly a third of their shots against Rock Lobster goaltenders tonight have gone in. But Athens have given themselves a chance. Power play goals from Kayson Gallant. And then Daniil Glukharov at even strength with a little more than 2 minutes to go in the middle frame have Athens to within 2 goals. Can the Rock Lobsters do the unthinkable? Still a lot to figure out on that front. The Rock Lobsters emptied the net on the power play. They were able to score through the leading FPHL goal scorer on the power play this season, Kayson Gallant, who made it a 6-3 game. And he's also our most recent guest on our Lobster Tales segment. So here is our second intermission segment, our Lobster Tales show with Kayson Gallant. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey, Crustacean Nation. Welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Matt Rad, and I'm joined today by top goal scorer in the FPHL's 2024-25 regular season, Kayson Gallant. Gally, how you doing today, my man?
I'm feeling great. Day before playoffs, so we're ramping things up over here.
It's a tremendous feeling, man. You've been heavily requested as one of our guests on the show, and it really feels like you're the man of the moment right now. You'll go down as the only player in this league to score 40 goals. Was that something you were envisioning for yourself when you joined this team?
Definitely not. I mean, I expected to come in and just try and, help the team win as much as possible, but I didn't expect to fill the net that much, I guess.
You've really exploded for goals in the second half of this season, especially on the power play. You're kind of in that, what they call that OV spot. You're that kind of guy on the unit. What factors do you think led to you leading the league in power play goals?
Definitely, it's got to be a part of Marty's, knowledge of, putting the right guys out on the power play, and then the guys on the power play too, right? They're very skilled with Milan, Shinks, and sometimes Orca, sometimes Danny and Phil and Mallow even. Like all those guys contribute to, doesn't matter who scores on the power play. So,
Coach Marty had told me in a previous interview that he acknowledged how tremendous of a player you were at the beginning of the season, and yet you still made a case for yourself as the most improved player on this team across the season. What have you made of your growth this year? Do you feel like you came into this organization as a 40-goal caliber player, or did that happen along the way?
I think it definitely happened along the way, just with the mentorship on the team and the players and stuff like that. You obviously come in and you want to play as good as possible, but I think my first thought of the first 2 months was just play good enough where you can't cut yet.
I think you're an interesting person to get this kind of perspective from. Coach Marty brings so much experience to the table, and I can't imagine how valuable that is for, a young man like you who's still in the budding stages of his career. What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned from having Marty as your coach?
Honestly, just the whole 200 feet of the ice. It's a completely different game looking at that way instead of just seeing one side of the red line, the offensive side. So when you play defense, the offense comes a lot easier.
It felt like there was a shift from you at some point in the middle of the season where your play had just gotten exponentially more gritty. Was that something you put work into, or did that come naturally with the nature of the league?
Definitely part of the lead for sure, but Marty had, he had asked guys to step up with their game, and then if you're going to play in this league, you can't just be a princess and dance around everybody. You got to get your nose dirty. So I definitely put a stress on it for a couple months there for sure to kind of ramp that side of it up.
Of course, a lot has been made of your partnership with Philip Virgili. It was something we talked about all the way back in October, and it's something that I asked Phil about just last week. What do you think Phil's biggest contribution has been to your monster of a season?
He's just such a smart player and big brother to me, right? So we talk all the time. We're always chatting on the bench, and you can say one thing to him and he'll know right where you are the next shift and find you with the puck or go to an open area, and he's always in the right spots.
You're going into this playoff series against Columbus, and you specifically have had some memorable moments against the River Dragons in that building. The first time you played at the Civic Center, you scored the latest regulation goal by the team this season, I believe, with 6 seconds to go to force the game into overtime. What is a moment like that like? I feel like it's one of those things where the puck hits the net and you just black out.
Yeah, pretty much, right? The last 20 seconds of that game is just kind of you black out and you just throw everything on net and go to the net as fast as possible. And honestly, it doesn't matter who puts it in as long as it does go in.
What moment ranks higher? Is it that goal, or was it that home ice hat trick you had just a few weeks ago against Bingo?
I think it's got to be at home against Bingo with the crowd and stuff. And against Bingo, I mean, they're a good team, but the goal that's not the credit all to me either. I mean, they made some great plays to me by Mallow and Phil. They made some great passes. So
going into this,
take all the credit.
You never do either. I know you pretty well. Are you going into this game tomorrow as a playoff start with the same mentality as any other game, or is there a mode that you kind of have to lock yourself into at all?
I think there's a little bit of a different mode. I think playoffs is a little bit of a different beast, and you have to find something inside you to just push yourself that extra gear and find it. And I think we got a lot of guys on our team that can do that.
Going back in the time machine a little bit, Case, you grew up in Red Deer, Alberta, and you've become affectionately known as the Red Deer Rocket on the broadcast. What's something you can tell us about home that makes it special?
My family, obviously my mom and my dad. There's nothing better than that. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my friends. They've been so supportive through this whole season and even last year when I wasn't playing. So I cannot thank them enough. That's what makes home special.
I was curious. I looked it up, and apparently it's the same distance from Red Deer to Calgary and to Edmonton. So was there a team that you had to choose growing up? Was there a good split in Red Deer?
Yeah, there was definitely a good split, but I went with Edmonton. Sean Harkoff and stuff like that. So, and Ryan Smith, I liked them at the time.
They've probably been a little closer to touching glory in your time on this earth as well. And that kind of leads us well into our next little segment we have here, Gally. I've been adding some game segments in our recent Lobster Tail interviews, and you were born right exactly before the new century in December of 1999. That, along with you being the potential rookie of the year in the FPHL this season, one of the league's best young talents, we're going to play a game of older or younger. I'm going to give you a list of things, and one after the other, you're going to tell me if you think that you are older or younger than that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right. The first thing we have on our list is a movie. Let's start with Shrek. Do you think you're older or younger than the first Shrek movie?
I think I'm younger, actually.
You're older. Shrek came out in 2001.
Oh, that's bad. The hot start.
I'll warn you now. These are all pretty close to your birthday.
Okay.
So the next up is the Columbus Blue Jackets, an expansion franchise. Are you older or younger than the Bull?
I think I'm younger. Was it not 99 or 98 it came out?
97 was the first Columbus Blue Jackets season.
Good way with that.
So that was a team that, made a shift, a seismic change in the league. How about a player that's done so? Cale Makar. Are you older than or younger than Keel McCarr?
I think I'm older than him.
You are younger, Keel McCarr, in number 98. I don't know if you're going to know this or not. I don't know if they have this in Canada. The TV show Survivor. Do they have Survivor in Canada?
Oh, they do. I've never watched it, but I think it's older than me.
You are older than Survivor. It came out in 2000.
I'm not getting trivia.
How about the comfortable shoe that continues to sweep the nation, Kayson? Crocs. Are you older or younger than Crocs?
I gotta be older than Crocs, right?
You're older than Crocs. You got that one right.
Let's go.
Last one. You're well aware of Marian Hossa. I'm sure he scored 525 goals in his career. But goal number 28 in his career, do you think you're older or younger than that goal?
28. Let's say I'm younger than it.
Trick question, Gally. That goal came on December 13th, 1999, and that is your birthday.
Yes, it is.
All right, Kayson, that dumb end to that segment leads us right into Question a Crustacean. It's the go-to way that Rock Lobster fans can learn more about their favorite players by asking them questions themselves. If you'd like the opportunity to ask players questions in future interviews, look for posts from me in our Athens Rock Lobster fan page on Facebook. Kayson, first question is from Becky Rice Hasty, and she wants to know, ninjas or pirates? What are you more interested in?
Oh, I think I got to go Pirates from...
Me too.
Pirates
I see what's on you. Our tech extraordinaire Stephen Turner says, Athens, Georgia is far from Alberta. What do you think about Georgia living, and have you learned any Southern sayings?
I haven't learned any sayings, I don't think. I think I just say y'all a lot more.
That's the universal language, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Someone that I know is a big fan of yours, Maddie Benton, is curious. What sport would you play, or if hockey or golf wasn't an option?
Honestly, I'd probably skateboard. I used to skateboard competitively as a kid, and I think I would choose that.
I think someone else told me that they were a skateboarder too. I can't remember if it was Grex or not. Is there any time, or is it even a smart idea for you guys to get on a board during the season at all?
Definitely not during the season, that's for sure. I mean, I'd like to think I have enough skill from when I was 16 to still be able to not hurt myself, but you never know. So I save it for summer.
Maddie's dad is up next on our list. Ty wants to know the difference between college hockey experience and pro hockey experience, and which one have you liked better?
Definitely similar in some ways, but different in others. Like the guys, we live together. We spend a lot of time together like that. But the hockey side, in the professional side, it's a lot more serious, right? There's a lot more on the line. There's always that little stress in the back of your head going, I got to keep playing well to stay in the lineup every night. So
Shannon Vanskike with this question. Do you have plans to move up, or do you swear an oath to the Lobsters forever? It's an interesting question, Case. What do you think the path ahead for you looks like?
I think right now we're just trying to stay focused on playoffs. But if I was to look ahead next year, maybe try and get into an East Coast camp and try and get a couple games there next year. And if not, then play here for the remaining of the next year and see what happens after that.
Catherine Harding, someone who is interested in both Athens and Columbus hockey, asks, what is your favorite thing about Athens?
It's got to be the liveliness of it. Like you go out on any day of the week and you go downtown sunny day, it's just bumping as something's going on, live music. The people are great. The Southern hospitality is real. So that's been awesome.
Her supporting Columbus, the River Dragons as well. She was curious what your favorite part of the in-state rivalry against Columbus was.
The intensity. Definitely the intensity. It's different. It's different than any hockey I've ever played.
Thor Neff with our next question. He asked for any pregame routine or superstitions you might have.
Nothing more than my right skate on before my left, my right shin pad all the way up to the gloves pretty much. I like to play a little bit of sewer ball and just make sure I get a good stretching routine, and I'll make the same breakfast every day on home game days with hash browns, eggs, and bacon, and watch a little bit of Lost, and then I'm good for the day.
Have you and the boys discovered the glory of Waffle House yet? I guess I haven't asked that question to anybody.
Yeah, we definitely have. Some of the guys have, we always get a text every now and then in the group chat saying Then we want to hit a wall house, and there's always a few guys.
Well, Case, your family has been a part of our cast of characters in our YouTube broadcast chat. I'm not sure if it's something you know or not, but it's definitely something H.R. Roman has noticed. He wants you to talk about the support and energy you feel from your family. He says, we see them in the chat, always following and supporting you. The love and pride they feel for you is palpable. How does that fuel you?
I mean, there's nothing better to fuel you, right? If you can't get up in the morning for your family like that, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. So they've been absolutely amazing. I mean, talk to my mom every other day and my dad just about the same. So it's good to talk to them and keep in touch as much as possible when you spend, 8-9 months away from them at a time. So I definitely miss them lots, and I can't thank them enough for, I wouldn't be here without them. So.
Well, hopefully you can go back home to Red Deer with a ring, and maybe you could bring the cup as well. Hope McIntyre with our next question. She asked, what are your favorite books to read? Are you a reader, Gally? Is that something we don't know?
I'm not a huge reader, but I try to read like the self-help book kind of thing. So the one I'm reading right now is I think it's like Atomic Habits or something. But I don't read a lot. So it's, first chapter here, second chapter there.
All the guys are really smart guys. I couldn't imagine at the same time, getting on the bus and seeing one of the guys with a book in their hand. Maybe that.
No, I've read maybe twice on the book or on the bus, and I think I might have been the only one.
Well, next question goes to our fan club admin, Niven McCrary. She pointed out some of the guys got to make their own creation at Farm Burger. What's your ultimate burger combo? What are your toppings? Fries, tater tots, or sweet potato fries, and what to drink?
I'm going to start with the drink, and you got to get a milkshake. Because, you always got to start with that. Just to build your own, I keep it pretty easy. Onions, lettuce, tomato, pickles, pickled jalapenos, with a little spice. Paprika mayo has been awesome on there. Tried the pork belly as well, and probably the best chicken tenders I've ever had there, and side of fries.
John Pearson asks, what your favorite thing to do in your downtime around Athens?
My favorite thing is, spending time with the guys, obviously try and get close as possible, but we play a lot of pickleball and hang out at the pool, watch hockey together, maybe go downtown when football season's on, catch a couple games there as well.
James Megan Vineyard with an important one. What's his favorite Southern dish he has tried?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I have an answer. They've been all so good, but I do love just when they get a big barbecue together. Just put everything on there. The mac and cheese, the brisket, everything.
You're speaking to my soul right now, Case.
Yeah.
Our in-house DJ at Aikens Ford Arena, DJ Webster, what's your go-to karaoke song?
I think I did Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC at one of our gatherings.
Well, Kate, important question askers coming up here. Raylan Robertson asks, if you could play hockey on any team in the world for one day, what team would that be, and who would you want as your line mates? Line mates can be anybody.
I mean, it's pretty hard not to say something like Colorado. Play with McKinnon, and let's say Landeskog is back, or Natchez, and have McCarr on the back end. I feel like that'd be a pretty good start.
I think it's a great answer, but finally, the most important question from dear old mom herself, Tammy Gallant. She tells us that Grandma Lou wants to know, does she get that steak and lobster supper when you come back to Red Deer?
Yes, she sure does. Yes, she sure does.
Well, I think that's a heartfelt end to this conversation, Kayson. Thank you so much. Another great lobster tale told here on the network. The Athens Rock Lobsters begin their road towards the Commissioner's Cup on Wednesday, April 16th in Columbus, Georgia, against the Columbus River Dragons. The team will then return to Aikens Ford Arena on Friday, April 18th for Game 2 of the series. If necessary, Game 3 will be in the tank on Saturday night. All puck drops will occur at 7:05 p.m. Secure your playoff tickets to cheer your team toward a championship at rocklobstershockey.com or classiccenterevenue.net. Case, see you Wednesday, my brother.
Thank you very much. Let's see you. Have yourself a good one.
Welcome back to the Columbus Civic Center, where the Rock Lobsters will start off the third period with 1 minute of power play remaining. It was a back and forth second period, but the River Dragons already had that 2-goal advantage through the first 20 minutes. A total of 6 goals scored split between the two teams in the middle frame. The River Dragons, who have scored 6 goals against the Rock Lobsters in this game, and that is the most that Athens has surrendered this season. The Rock Lobsters hoping to make what would be one of the most unbelievable comebacks we've seen in the FPHL this season. We'll see if we're able to start here, because that metal pane that holds the glass in place has once again fallen to the ice here. It's not been a great few games for the rink here at the Columbus Civic Center. It's an older building. Hopefully the Rock Lobsters, having scored 2 unanswered goals, they will feel that the momentum is with them and their team. Thank you guys for tuning in for the interview with Kayson Gallant. Of course, you can catch all of our Lobster Tales here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Athens Rock Lobster content. Final frame of Game 1. This one's not over yet. When the River Dragons took a 6-2 lead, I'll be honest, I didn't give Athens enough of a chance that they were going to be able to even get themselves into this kind of position where they're down now by only 2 goals. Carter Shinkarik out in front of Rosenzweig's net, finds Gallant on the right side. Gallant hard towards the net. He scored on the power play earlier on in this game. Rock Lobsters went up a man, and then Steve Martinson pulled Rosenzweig from the net. The gamble ended up paying off. Milan pirouettes in front of his own blue line. Gallant plays it with a skate into the path of Shinkarik. Off the boards, back to Gallant. Gallant to Shinkarik. Bounces back towards Gallant. Just try to get anything on it. It trickles in front of the half wall. Gallant off the skate of Virgili. McDonald will get there first. Lukarioff cuts off the pass towards Moore. Danny dangles, but wide of the pad of Babin. Loic Plouffe hard off his own glass. Bounces favorably for Ryan Hunter, who's fresh out of the penalty box. The Rock Lobsters now 1 for 7 on the power play tonight, as Josh Rosenzweig collects a shot from the far boards and freezes the clock with 18:34 remaining in regulation. Canada VODs or VODs in the chat asking, is Powell dressed? Powell, one of the healthy scratches tonight. Hunter Alden in the face-off circle. He's kind of been deployed as the 10th forward tonight for Athens. Greco gets it helped to him by Rosenzweig. Wickline whiffed on it initially, but Hatcher has it, dumps it back in. Knuckles off the ice. Michael Greco has it back, steps on the gas pedal from behind the net. Johnson centers it. Took a piece of Slahecka, never reached it to the crease. Rock Lobsters might really like their chances if they make it a 1-goal game. It has not been a 1-goal game since the River Dragons took a 1-0 lead. Murray, Papapetros, Milan will chase it himself off of his own dump-in. Stafura, who scored his 3rd goal as a Rock Lobster earlier on in this game. Lukarioff, great feed to Murray. putting his body on the line is Moore on the block shot. Moore doing a little bit of it all tonight. McDonald always looking for Hunter, it seems. And that's been a big reason why Hunter was able to lead this Columbus team in goals. That was a rifle of a shot. Sent back in towards the crease from McDonald. Ryan Hunter pops out for him. Puck's to loose out in front. It knuckles over the bar from Doherty. The Rock Lobsters are still in this game, but will that remain the case if one more tickles the twine against them? Brody Thornton, hard off the end boards. Avery Smith stepped up and made the hit on Doherty. Robertson got the tip out in front from Weisblatt that took it wide. Shot came in from the far side. Smith blocked out by Thornton. Long lofted pass. Drops down in the Rock Lobster zone. Avery Smith loose with it at the line. Wickline. Backhand misses wide. Good poke from Weisblatt. Has Carrick and Smith to his right. Took a nasty shoulder but bounced off of it. Greco. Weisblatt! Good save out in front. Not sure if it was Babin or if it was the rookie Plouffe. Kolatarsi whistles it in the far corner. The killer whale around for Kolatarsi. Misses to the right of Babin. Balkwill. Rosenzweig has it take a touch off the side of his net and eventually gets the glove over it. Well, it feels strange to not have a goal at this point of the period because we're coming off of that 6-goal frame in the second. Maybe the Rock Lobsters can make it a 1-goal game and make things even more interesting as regulation goes on here. More playoff hockey coming up after this commercial break.
Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Rock Lobsters still down, but it could have been a lot worse. A 2-goal game here at 6-4. Obviously, it's important for the Rock Lobsters to put the puck in the back of the net here in what could be a decisive third period. But it feels even more important to make sure that Columbus does not score goal number 7. Glukarioff tried to thread the needle towards Milan. Didn't work out his way, but possession stays with the Rock Lobsters. Only temporarily. Murray was able to pin Jemayev to the half wall. Puck comes into the Rock Lobster zone. Rosenzweig stops it. Papa Petros has really impressed me as the rookie out of Castleton University with his skating ability. Poked ahead, and then Murray with a couple slaps out at Bersani. Jemayev with a golden opportunity to bury this game. Lynn, good toe drag, and then took a big hit. Rosenzweig trying to find his bearings in his crease. Rock Lobsters get the puck away. McDonald collects. A very, very dangerous man is Justin McDonald. Malik Johnson trying to pounce on the missed pass from the River Dragons. Gets there. Gallant loses out. Hart off the boards. Rosenzweig wanted the icing. He's not going to get it granted to him by the officials. Malik Johnson able to get it to Oja. Oja, right side, Gallant. Centering pass, Virgili. Kyle Moore, backhand floater to McDonald. Just out of his reach. Out on the far side. Whiff on the pass. Johnson. Oja. Gallant with a one-time floater into the chest of Babin. Tough pass to deal with as it popped up on Gallant. Got something on it, but wasn't able to muster enough energy on that one to really trouble Babin. This game has been pedal to the metal since the first puck drop. However, the River Dragons have made sure that that was to their advantage, not to the Rock Lobsters. Stafora almost had his second on that one. Great play to get to the short side, but missed high over the bar. But the Rock Lobsters have clawed their way back, if you will, to make it a game, still a multi-goal lead for the River Dragons. Stafora ahead for Smith. Thornton around his own boards. Wickline scored on a shorthanded breakaway in this game. He gets sandwiched in the end boards, in the glass, by two big bodies in behind Rosenzweig's net. Rosenzweig with the blocker. Greco. Rifles one off the glass. Two former River Dragons here on the near side in Shinkarik and Greco. Babin frustrated himself, not getting the icing call. Doherty, big man at 6'5", gets himself to the goal line, centering pass. Weisblad able to cut it out. Good move for him on the stick handle to protect the puck, to send Milan on a path towards trying to find Glukaryov. Glukaryov on the forecheck was able to center it from the office, intercepted by the River Dragons. It's been only 2 shots on net against Josh Rosenzweig in this third period. Great defensive work there from Murray because McDonald was looking very likely to increase that shot on goal tally. Papapetros hits the net after centering it from behind. Malik Johnson, despite the injury he took on earlier this game, still letting his physical presence be known. Oja gives it away in behind, but Gallant able to spring himself ahead. Malik Johnson, knowing that he was ahead of all of the defensemen there for Columbus, tried to send Gallant on his way. One time from the boards. Pat's save from Rosenzweig was necessary. Here comes the speed from Gallant again. Steps on the brakes, eases it in behind the goal line. Lind got there. Pops up on the stick of Hunter. The hit shook it free, but Moore here enters on the near side of the point. River Dragons haven't looked too dangerous scoring-wise here in the third period, but they've done a great time at shaving seconds off the clock. This has been by far the quickest period of this game. Smith gets edged out. Robertson asking for some help. Storjahan on the left side of the slot gets deflected over the net. Rock Lobsters still have plenty of hope in these playoffs. Rosenzweig will get the icing call to benefit him this time. Playoff hopes still alive here, not only in this series, but also in this game for the Rock Lobsters. Will that continue as time continues to trickle down here in the third period? Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Look, it's playoff hockey. We expected a level the likes of which that hasn't been seen so far in the regular season. We've seen that for better or for worse. 10 goals scored in this game. River Dragons with a 6-4 lead on their home ice. Puck pinballing around the circle. Comes loose for Glukaryov. One-time shot. Great save from Babin. Wouldn't have seen it till late because of the traffic out in front. Glukaryov to Milan, who swats it in. Bockwell around his own boards. Underwood from the corner, spins away from the pressure. Rosenzweig plays the dump in himself. Weisblatt, one touch into the skates of Shinkarik. Glukaryov can't get to it. Weisblatt recollects. That puck is out of play on the dump in. 8:29 left in regulation. A reminder that the next game between these two teams will be played at Aikens Ford Arena. Make sure, if you haven't already, to scan your QR code here on the screen and get your tickets for the playoffs. Game 2 Friday at 7:05. Game 3 Friday at 7:05, if necessary. A little bit of pushing and shoving between Orca Weisblatt and Nathan Bockwell. Both will sit. Not really a lot in it from either guy, but the referees will sit both of them. We're going back to the 4-on-4, and wow, the 4-on-4 has been quite exciting in this game. Earlier on in the first period, both teams scored on the 4-on-4. I believe it was Wickline on the breakaway and Glukaryov with a wicked wrister. That was the Rock Lobsters' first goal of the game. Murray will take it back into the Athens zone, trying to get that train rolling down the ice. Murray, Papapetros, Gallant, and Virgili. Murray overskated it. Plouffe uses that to his advantage. Wickline has shown a lot of speed. He's been the hot hand for Columbus as of late. Storjahan mishandles it. Virgili, nifty move out of his own ice. Finds Papapetros at the blue line. Drops it back to the Swede. Pat save from Babin. Virgili bats at it towards Babin. Hits the side netting. Lind, a lot of speed from Lind. Lind somehow still has a touch of the puck. Forced out into the neutral ice. 45 seconds to go, 4-on-4. The Rock Lobsters looking for a win in their first ever playoff game. Good poke check. Kolatarsi sends Milan on his way. Milan opts to try and set up shop here. Shinkarik in behind for Glukaryov. Bounces away from the pressure, does Glukaryov, but the puck didn't come with him. Good forecheck from Glukaryov. He needs some help, though, here in this offensive zone. Shinkarik gliding into the left circle. Centering pass. Puck loose out in front. Glukaryov with a shot off the bar. Ozha steps up from the point into the corner. Surrounded by two. Heavy hit. Johnson takes a punch straight in the face. Easy call for the officials to make there. And it seems likely the Rock Lobsters are going to the power play. But it looks like Glukaryov is also going to the box. You'd have to think it was for afters against whatever happened to Johnson. The Rock Lobsters have to do better there. They have to stay disciplined in those kinds of moments. Of course, you want to try and protect your guy. But in the crucial stages of this game, a potential power play that could give you the chance. And mind you, the Rock Lobsters power play hasn't been tremendous in this game. But the extra skater is always welcome. Glukaryov and Kyle Moore will both sit. Rock Lobsters sending out Virgili Gallant, Shinkarik, and Greco. For the River Dragons, I'm seeing Underwood, McDonald, Hunter. Trying to get a good look at the fourth member on the ice. Believe it's Balkwill. McDonald kicked away from the dot. Doesn't like it. But Hunter takes his place and still win the faceoff. A lot of space out on that far side. Hunter has tried to combine with McDonald and vice versa multiple times tonight. Where did that one go? Did Rosenzweig make the save on that? Hunter in prime position to bury this game. He either missed high or Rosenzweig made a tremendous save. .546 left in regulation. Both teams on a 4-on-4, and the Rock Lobsters down 2 goals. Still trying to find a way back into this game. Papa Petros out of the Athens face-off win. So good at gaining momentum from behind his team's net. Linesman with a great defensive play there. And then a whistle. We got a tripping call. And it looks like it's going against Papa Petros. The River Dragons going back to the power play. trying to do the math here. You're not liking how it's looking thus far. 5 minutes and 31 seconds left, and the River Dragons will have the next 2 minutes on the power play. Be a minute and 24 of 4-on-3. Columbus able to win the face-off. Underwood rips a shot right into the gear of Rosenzweig. I think the question here is how adventurous can you get with 3 men on the shorthand for the Rock Lobsters? You might have to be with how little time is left here in game 1. Rock Lobsters trying to complete what would be an otherworldly comeback. The River Dragons trying to deprive Athens of their first ever playoff win and go into Aikens Ford Arena with a 1-goal advantage. Underwood does enough there to keep it with the River Dragons. Milan, well on his way, gets the puck at the line. Slight misplay. Milando to the net. Forehand, backhand, and a save from Babin on the breakaway. What a play from the Rock Lobsters, down to 3 men. Milan was found at the line, slight spill on the touch of the puck. Garrett was still able to go hard to the crease, go forehand, backhand, but what a save by Babin, who has definitely been a huge difference maker in this game. We've reached the final 5 minutes of regulation here. Rock Lobsters in desperate need of a goal. Will it happen before the final horn blows?
Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
It's getting down to crunch time. How quickly will the final 5 minutes of regulation run off the clock here? Because it's been a very, very quick third period, especially in comparison to the way the first 2 periods have been played. Rock Lobsters down at 1.4 goals in this game at 6-2. They put themselves in the contention, now down 2 goals, but a Columbus River Dragon power play could potentially bury this game with another. If Columbus does have another goal in them in this game, it would be the most goals given up by Athens this season. Shinkarik centering feed, never reached Virgili, and as the Rock Lobsters had to commit numbers forward, Columbus with a 3-on-2 the other way. Oh, Rosenzweig keeping Athens in this game on the save on Thornton. Let's not get it twisted. Athens is running out of time here. But if the Rock Lobsters do find some way to tie this game up at 6, you might look back at that save from Rosenzweig as the moment that changed the trajectory of this game. Rosenzweig needs a new bucket. Trying to get the helmet to Tommy McDonald, the equipment manager for the Athens Rock Lobsters, as he tries to make some fixes. For those of you just tuning in, a 6-4 game And most of the narrative came in the second frame, in which there were 6 goals scored, split between the two teams, 3-3. However, the decisive period might go down as the first, as the River Dragons were able to score 3 unanswered to start this game. Four minutes, 25 seconds remaining. The 3 on the ice for the Rock Lobsters: Kolatarsi, Shinkarik, and Virgili. Rosenzweig has that bucket fixed, and we're ready to get back going here. Virgili with a face-off win. Rosenzweig getting tied up by Wickline. Out of the corner. Wickline tiptoeing in the left circle, passes out to the left, Slaheka to the right, blocked out in front by Kolatarsi. Now it's a 5-on-4 here. The River Dragons still on the power play, but Athens up a man here. Hatcher trying to center it. Met a roadblock. River Dragons, though, still in the zone here. Thornton. Slapper from Hatcher. Pad saved by Rosenzweig. Both teams now back at even strength. Papa Petros came in from behind on Hatcher. Papa Petros enters left side of the point. Was able to create an angle on the centering pass, but no one there to meet it. Greco from the blue line. Weisblatt pokes it into his path. Trying to shake it free from the boards. Greco stops it at the point. Shot from the blue line came up high on Babin. Almost fumbled it. Ends up freezing it instead. Rock Lobsters leading the shots on goal 34-26. However, the River Dragons were able to score 6 goals on their first 19 shots of this game. They now have the third period shot advantage at 7-5. Milan wins the faceoff. Shinkarik, Papa Petros. Athens sending a lot of bodies out in front of Babin. Weisblatt plays it with the skate off the bar again. Another cruel joke here. Second bar rattled by the Rock Lobsters in this period. And the diving poke check doesn't go the way of Papa Petros, as he will be sent off for 2 minutes for tripping. What was starting to feel more and more like an undoable task, and unfortunately just got more difficult for the visitors. Papa Petros into the box for tripping. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. If nothing changes, the River Dragons are going into Aikens Ford with a 1-0 series advantage. The positive to take out of that is the Rock Lobsters will have 2 games. 2 games to try and win the series in front of their home fans. Rock Lobsters have the net empty. Temporarily, Rosenzweig was quick off his bench after he saw the River Dragons were bolting into the zone. Lifted high towards Milan. A little bit of one-on-one here against Underwood. Milan's shot gets blocked by the River Dragon captain. Shinkarik wraps around. Milan, one-timer, wide of the mark. Net is now empty for the Rock Lobsters. Milan, right circle, try to set up Shinkarik. Pass got blocked. Shinkarik, second bite of the cherry, saved by Babin. In and out of the glove. Icing against Columbus. 1:38 left. 1:03 remaining on the Columbus power play as well. The Rock Lobsters, having pulled Josh Rosenzweig, have evened the personnel. Milan, Virgili, Weisblatt, Shinkarik, and Glukaryov. Shinkarik into the corner. Glukaryov made the step up. Milan trying to bat it loose. McDonald trying to spring more towards the empty net. Shinkarik beats him out in a foot race for the icing. Rock Lobsters keeping the net empty. Backhanded towards the Rock Lobster net by Hunter. And another icing against Columbus. Game is lumbering toward its end. It's starting to feel like the end of a basketball game here a little bit. Got to come right now, right here, for any hope for the Rock Lobsters. Score one, have a minute to play with to try and get the miracle goal. McDonald from his own end, stopped at the Rock Lobster bench by Virgili. Pokes it back, Gallant. Glukaryov. Glukaryov wraps it around, centers it. Does not find a teammate. Shinkarik, couple of great moves, but Storjahan is there to meet him. That is off the stick of Glukaryov and all the way in. The Columbus River Dragons have now scored 7 goals against the Rock Lobsters. That is the most against Athens in a game this season. .7 seconds left in regulation. Johnson still not giving up a lick here. Storjahan with the empty netter. Robertson kicks it to himself. Falls for Johnson. First playoff game in Athens Rock Lobster history does not create the kind of memories that the team and fans were hoping for. A 7-4 loss against their in-state rival, the Columbus River Dragons, and that is the most goals that the team has let up this season. Athens showed some fight in this game, at one point being down 4 goals. They took a gamble, rolled the dice, had the power play, and emptied the net in the second period. Kayson Gallant scored to make it a 3-goal game. And then Athens had themselves within 2 on the quick exchange between Shinkarik and Glukaryov. But the only goal scored in the third period is the empty netter from Storjahan to bury this game at 7-4. Fret not, though, Rock Lobster fans. There is still something to be positive about for this Rock Lobster team. Of course, they took the big loss. However, there is still playoff hockey to be played at Athens Ford Arena, and that is the big plus. Friday night in Athens, Rock Lobsters against Columbus River Dragons, as this Athens team will try to even up the series at 1 apiece to send it to Game 3, which would only be played, if necessary, Saturday night. If you have not already, make sure that you get your playoff tickets. Rock Lobster fans, the team is going to need you and all your friends to be there at Athens Ford Arena to give them the best chance to win and send this series to Game 3. If you haven't already, make sure you secure your postseason tickets now. You can grab yours at rocklobstershockey.com or scan the QR code on your screen. Let's pack the tank, make some playoff magic. The Rock Lobsters still have more wins against the River Dragons this season, so let's see if the River Dragons remember what it's like to fear the Claw when it comes to hockey in the Classic City. This is the only playoff game being played tonight. Everybody else starting out tomorrow. You got yourselves a pretty much full slate besides this Athens-Columbus series. Danbury hat tricks against Port Huron Prowlers. Everybody's starting off Friday, so a completely full slate. The Danbury hat tricks against the Port Huron Prowlers. The Columbus River Dragons against the Athens Rock Lobsters. The Binghamton Black Bears against the Watertown Wolves. And the Carolina Thunderbirds against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Well, to everybody who joined us in the stream tonight, thank you so much for doing so. Unfortunately, it doesn't go the Athens Rock Lobsters' way. They fall 7-4 in Game 1 of the Commissioner's Cup quarterfinals against their in-state rival, the Columbus River Dragons. But more playoff hockey to be played, and it'll be played at Athens Ford Arena. Secure your tickets now. We hope to see you there. On behalf of the Athens Rock Lobster organization, this is Matt Rad saying so long from the Columbus Civic Center.